even before other people doubt you. And I think that we need to play down on that. Rather than doubting yourself, pick up the position, do what you know, and then ask for help for the things that you don't know.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that powerful point. I remember there was a popular TED talk that went about that many times if men are qualified, like 60% they apply, but a woman wants to get like 100% to be sure that she is qualified before she takes on that position. And this leads on, as an HOD, sir, do you think this is like the general experience of women in academic, at least from the social sciences, sir?
Yeah, thank you. Let me start by saying that I was the HOD until the end of July. Oh. So I have completed my tenure as the head of the department. The good news is that I have been succeeded by a female professor who happens to be a very close friend of mine. And I agree that those barriers are there. We have these gender norms. There are expectations. So society creates expectations, and they expect women to conform. For instance, the new head of department in my own department now, there are things that already people are expecting her to conform to. One example, the departmental vehicle. As head of department, I drove it. I decided that I was not interested in keeping a driver. But upon assumption of office, people went to the new head of department to say, you must get a driver. And she doesn't want a driver because personally that's her choice. But because she's a woman, some people already are kicking. They're telling her what to do, and these are some of the. And in fact, they told her specifically, "You're a woman, that you can't behave like your predecessor." Okay, so those challenges are there. The society has these norms that they expect women to conform with, so they're there.
Yes, thank you so much. She's brought the sociological perspective, and this is very interesting. And just pulling from what you said, sir, Professor Anyang, how do you think this impacts on the barriers that women then create for themselves at the level of personal level? So many of the things, apart from the imposter syndrome you spoke about, are more barriers at the level of institution. So now, how do the women themselves now create barriers that maybe society hasn't created for themselves? Thank you.
All right, thank you, moderator. One way in which women create these problems for themselves is that many ladies don't believe in themselves, like what Dr. Ajayi earlier said. You don't believe in yourself, then that means whatever people tell you is what you're going to follow, and then eventually you'll find yourself stumbling because you don't even believe yourself. Let me give you a little story. When we were growing up and then in school, I had a number of girlfriends. And then you find that before the exams, some lecturers will be inviting some of these ladies or girls. And some of them, I had a very close friend that she will ask me, let's go. This man had asked us to come or asked me to come. Please accompany me. I normally ask her, are you going there because you cannot write the exams? Or are you going there because he wants to teach you more? But the answer is usually, well, he said I should come. Please, all you just need, if you are my friend, just accompany me there. And I can tell you that she had a whole lot of problems, that one particular session, she repeated that particular class. in the sense that when she was now visiting this man, she got pregnant, and then pregnancy she was unable to remove this
Very
pregnancy.
sad.
And then she was in hospital most of the time. She couldn't write. So she couldn't write the exams. She repeated that course twice, two times.
Wow.
This is what I'm saying here is that this lady actually created her own problem, because I always tell her, if you know you can write your exams, this lecturer doesn't need to tell you to come every day. But she will say, what can she now do? What can she now do? So invariably or indirectly, she created her own problem. So that is what many women do. Like you are in position, and then you find you want to take decision. You can source for say advice,
yes,
and then but you should take that decision. Don't allow somebody else to give you advice and then give you the decision you should take.
Thank you
because
very much.
Because sometimes when they do, they put you also in trouble. Thank you,
Prof. You've brought us to a very critical point around agency, and just still speaking to what Professor Okonuji had said, whereby social norms, how we are brought up. So while we are the issue around this selfless helplessness is another thing we need to look at and think about. In that situation, is it really the woman's fault? What do you think the role of the upbringing has to do? Because for, like what you just said, some people believe that if I don't have the ability to make a great decision because I'm a woman. So I would like you to speak to that from the level of the personal level, and how possibly this can be, what can be done to counter that imposter syndrome like she spoke about. No, Dr. Patricia, thank you.
Thank you very much. For starters, I think that women need to shed some of these norms that we grew up with. Maybe a little bit difficult, but it's doable. Especially in the workplace. Like you said earlier on, it takes, people look up to women to do much more before you can meet up the standard. So you must have this notion at the back of your mind that I am a woman does not make me less than a man. I should be able to do the same thing. And I see a lot of women in the workplace. I lecture in the university, in the Department of Economics. Before I became the program director of postgraduate programs, a female colleague was given that position. And she made silly excuses 3 months into it to say, and she's not healthy, she's this, she's that. Women give a lot of excuses. If it's not, I'm not healthy, I have children to take care of. That again is a minus for us. So I took it up. And I have been on it since 2019. It has not been easy. Now, can I also shock you? Every male that has ever been a program director in my department had assistants, at least 2. I don't even have one. I even do the job of a messenger, just so that things can run. And I have never complained once. Why? Because I don't want any man to look down at me and say, they have come again. Shebi, this one said this one wants to say this. So sometimes we need to speak to ourselves. Like I said earlier on, you are not inferior to a man. We are on equal basis. Just tell yourself what you can do. What you cannot do, ask for help.
Thank you. So powerful. Thank you, Professor Okonuji. So just bringing us to this concept of socialization, because it sounds like, I know there are critical periods in a person's life. When you're young, then there's hope you can change. There are sensitive periods when, like, you're an adolescent. But when a person is really fully grown and already thinks that, is there hope to have that mental shift? Coming from that sociological perspective and the lived experience as an academia.
Yes, it's possible to have that shift. But the first step is to be aware that there is something you want to change, and you're committed to changing that thing. It can happen, but whoever is going to do that must come to that realization that there is need for a change. But one other thing I'll also like to add is that women sometimes, the expectation is that women should support women, but you'll be shocked that sometimes those who will gang up against women who are holding offices are women. And that's from my own experience. They are very quick to find faults in what other women are doing. And so these are things we should also keep in mind. We should be a little more supportive of one another.
Thank you so much. Very powerful points. And just to piggyback to what you said, yeah, could it be that the resources are limited, and so maybe a few people then have to try to get the few slots available? Maybe that's scarcity mindset. So, but what do you think at the level of universities can be done? Now, what can the institution do to support women at, to rise up to that position if given? Because the fact that you give someone something doesn't mean they will take it if they don't feel they have the ability. So, Prof. Anyanwu, can you help us?
Thank you very much.
Can you also tell us maybe what you have done and what can be done?
Yeah. Yes. Really, I think this, we have to work at the policy level, because many times the universities are there, the vice chancellor and all those other people, they are all there, and when they see that a woman is supposed to be the next person, but they don't give to that person, they will prefer to give to the man, and this is the problem we've been having. And so the best thing to be done is to have a policy to say, if we have like 15 lecturers and then 5 are women, every 3 years or every 3 tenure, a woman should be the head of department. And that's the only way we can go, if we have a strong policy to direct, because without that, there is no way they can give it to you on platter of gold, unless you are the one that is a fighter. Otherwise, they cannot. And I want to a little bit touch what the last speaker, that's our male, said, that the women are always the ones that fight the other women. I think that is a stereotype kind of belief, and it shouldn't be. We should not take it at all. There's no woman who actually fights the other woman. It fights every other person, but it can support. The women usually support. They should support one another. For what I have done, when in the universities, I want to reveal this. It's a secret that I have cultivated myself. In academics, you are free to sometimes leave your workplace and go to sabbatical for other things. I have been on sabbatical, and in such sabbaticals, I was appointed dean. I was dean of faculty, and I was also dean of students. What I want the women to do, if you are in a place, don't stay there forever. If you find that the place is not suited for you or is not giving you what you want, try somewhere else. Because in lecturing, you are free to move to somewhere else and then come back. So I have enjoyed that many times. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Same question, Dr. Patricia. In terms of what do you think the system, the institution can do to help women rise into leadership?
Thank you very much. For starters, I think that many academic institutions should have a gender mainstreaming office where they can create a gender-friendly space for everybody. Yeah. For example, in the University of Ibadan, where I work, we have a GMO office, and in the more recent years, we have seen many women rise to leadership positions as deputy vice chancellors. We have seen more women in the governing council now. More women are encouraged to be deans of faculties and heads of department. And so it's becoming much more interesting. the men have come to realize that without the input of women, if you just put down policies, they won't go far. So women bring to bear the feminine aspect of them, their assertiveness. And at meetings, their assertiveness are not seen as being aggressive, but trying to push for policies that are friendly for both men and women, boys and girls. So I think that every institution should strive to do that. And more importantly, when women are called upon to take up leadership positions, please, let's not say no. Just pick it up. You might just excel beyond your expectation.
Thank you so much. So she said, Professor Anyanwu said, have a gender policy. She said, implement the policy. And Professor Konuji, what do you think can be done?
Yeah, I think it's important to establish a tradition of excellence. I won't subscribe to a quota system because it can also be counterproductive. Because after some time, people will tell you, you are there because you're a woman. Rather, we should uphold excellence. For instance, in my department and in the greater part of the University of Lagos, there is an established process through which people rise. We have a pecking order. So, if you like, call it turn by turn. So we have a hierarchy. In the hierarchy, in my department, the next 2-3 heads of department know themselves as we speak. They are not there yet, and it is irrespective of your gender. The person who was head of department before me is a woman. The one before that one is a woman. The one after me is a woman. So if you take the last 4 heads of department in my department, you're talking of 3 women and 1 man. And the next one is going to be a man. We know who that person is. If you come to the University of Lagos, in fact, at a time, out of, I think, 10 principal officers, 9 of them were women at a time. So I don't, and nobody's going to say you are there because you're a woman. Rather, we have established a tradition and of excellence. If it's due you, if you are qualified, you will get it. So it has nothing to do with being a woman. Yes. The other thing I think we should emphasize is that culture of competence. So apart from, yes, having a system that is predictable, it's also important that whoever, whether you're a man or a woman, but I think it's more important for women because of where we're coming from as a people. If you are appointed into any office, you need to do everything possible to equip yourself so that people are not saying at the end of the day, oh, women are asking for this, now they have it, and then what do you have to show for that opportunity?
Yes, thank you.
So as much as possible, any woman that is appointed should do her best so that nobody comes later to say, we appointed a woman and see what we have got. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So you said something, merit and competence. So we're going to take 2 questions, but before we take it, just to give us time to reflect on the powerful things they have said, we have somebody online, one of our keynote context, our keynote person that will give us a context setting. His name is Jackson Otieno. He's the program manager for Co-Impact Africa. Over Jackson, if you're able to hear me. Thank you so much. So we're in the room here and we can all see you. But we can't hear you just yet. Media team, can you please help work on this? Okay, do you want him to unmute? Okay, Jackson, can you unmute your mic, please? Okay. Yeah, he's a co-host. Okay, Dr. Tisi, can you help me find out if he's a co-host? I'm just going to, while we're waiting for this to be sorted, Jackson, we just want to be sure that we have sorted things out at our end. We're just going to take 2 quick questions. Keep it sharp. 30 seconds, just for balance. And, I cannot say no to you, ma. Yes, ma. And then a male, preferably. Okay, so I will take these 2 women since we didn't see. Over. Thank you.
Hello. Good. Name is Lillian and I'm Nache, Executive Director, TA Connect. Thank you very much. I am really happy in all that I heard from the panelists. I also want to just emphasize delegation, mentorship and delegation. As women in leadership positions, there tends to be, I wasn't happy to hear my prof say she's the messenger. If there's, I believe that if there's room, you said your predecessor had 2 assistants and you need the assistants, please get them so that women too, we don't burn out ourselves in trying to prove that we can do it all. So we should delegate where necessary in as much as we have that spirit of excellence. And I also want to talk about mentorship, or deliberate mentorship. Prof talked about succession planning. And I think part of that planning is also so that those who are coming behind can be mentored by those, irrespective of who they are, whether male or female. But I think for women in leadership, we have to be more intentional in getting that done so that we can also see more women rise to those ranks. Those are just 2 things I wanted
Thank
to
you
add.
for that
Thank you.
powerful contribution. Thank you. Sorry, we have another person.
Hello.
Yes. Okay, Jackson, are you there? Can you hear us now?
I've been able to hear you. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you. Can you hold your question so we'll take it? Thank you. Can you go ahead? We can hear you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues, guests. I believe it's already afternoon in Abuja, so good afternoon. So first off, Kenny, I cannot give any context. The discussions that have been going on so far give the context. And also, being in Kenya, definitely don't know anything about Nigeria. Having said that, it is really a privilege to join you, even though it's through Zoom, for this Gender Summit, and particularly to focus on something that matters for not only for research quality, not only for institutional excellence, which I've had being talked about, not only for Nigeria's growth, but Africa's growth, which is women's leadership in academic, economic institutions. My name is Jackson Otieno. I am with Co-Impact, and Co-Impact is a partner of the Policy Innovation Center, and our job is we bring together local change makers with philanthropies to make health, education, and economic systems more inclusive. Currently, we have a commitment to deploy over $1 billion by 2030 towards these goals. You know, our core beliefs is simple, really. That is, you cannot build equitable systems without gender equality. And at the same time, you can't achieve gender equality without having women in leadership. And so our North Star is really that simple. Systems don't become inclusive without women in positions of power and influence. A lot has been said by the speakers about why this matters now, and I can just highlight some of the things that we've heard from Policy Innovation Center, from other partners in Nigeria, and this is that recent Nigeria-wide evidence shows that the pipeline is leaking, even well before we get to this glass ceiling that we're talking about. Across economics departments, women average around 43.8 at undergraduate level, but there are only 39.2 of graduates. So that attrition is already visible. By postgraduate level, the share falls further to, below around 34%, being full-time and 37% being part-time. When you look at different departments, this funnel effect is also, being seen, where you can see there's intake parity at some schools. But then the problem is that in some places you see there's 23% women at PhD level. In some it's 19%. There's some departments in some institutions there's no female PhD students. When you look at staffing, women hold only around 15% of academic posts overall. And again, this representation just keeps on dropping the higher you go, in the senior ranks. Important to note that what we're also hearing from other partners is that this is not only a problem in academia, this is also a problem in industry. For example, a partner who's working on reducing gender inequality in the banking sector and the finance sector, highlights the same kind of trends. And they tell us that, at the end of it, when you reduce gender equality in Nigeria, you could lift GDP by as much as 23%. So literally, this is an issue that has the potential to uplift not only the lives of women, but also to just improve the economic conditions for everyone. The speakers have highlighted, what's getting in the way when it comes to this issue. Madam spoke very well about these things about, stereotypes. The first one was, that stereotype that, women are in the way of other women. The other stereotypes that specifically also we are hearing exist within academia. So, for example, this whole issue of math ability and the whole issue around women, the myth about women not being as good as at math and economics and all those. So this not only affects recruitment, it affects the assignment of positions, it affects the research opportunities that women get. It affects overall the leadership track that women in academia have in terms of opportunities. The other thing that we are hearing is coming out very strongly, which speakers have already spoken to, is this whole issue of caregiving without the institutional support, or even when there's uneven policies, not only in public institutions of higher learning, but also in private institutions of higher learning. One of the speakers also talked about the whole issue of networking and support, the whole issue of mentorship and delegation. All these are tools of being able to create the kind of thing that men normally would have, those boy club or men's clubs networks, such that also women in professionals are also able to benefit from those. The other things that we are seeing and we are hearing that are important in this regard, one comes down to data. So there's a lot of data invisibility because of the lack of policies, because of the lack of the thinking around this. Most departments don't routinely track, admissions, completion, publications of research, promotions, or committees' role by, disaggregated by gender. So without this, then the whole problem becomes invisible, and it's, very difficult to address it. So one practical shift is to make that data visible and actionable. Another thing is to institutionalize the things that every speaker and some of the comments from the plenary have come, which is to institutionalize mentorship and sponsorship, and then really generally to fix the rules of the game, to strengthen promotion criteria. One of the speakers has talked about, having a very merit-based promotion that the next 3 department heads know themselves, because it's very clear. If that example of Lagos University can also be replicated in other universities, then definitely this is one of the ways to fix some of these challenges. one important thing is to also still consider when thinking about this kind of work that we've seen work in, with other partners trying to address the whole issue of women's leadership in academics, particularly in economics, is making sure that the right people who need to be in the room are always in the room. Because change sticks when coalitions form. When you have heads of department, when you have deans, when you have registrars, senior faculty members are also on board, then it becomes much easier to hardwire these shifts that we are looking to create. Then to target the right list of stakeholders and the networks of advisors, so that you have across disciplinary coalition that brings everybody on board, and even creates that ripple effect of being able to mobilize even much faster.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Those are so many powerful points, and I'm sure we've been taking notes. What Jackson has done is he's giving us an idea, just in case you want to have write a project or run a project around women in leadership, just as the other panelists have done. They've given us very great ideas that have been tested and that can work. Jackson, really grateful for your, I think your charge, because if I were not moderating, I've taken a lot. I would have taken a lot of notes on how to, make this into actions. And just so that, because I was just told that we are out of time, we'll just take your last question. Make it sharp. 30 seconds.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
My name is Blessing Agbo, and I presented an abstract on the bridging the skills to leadership gap in Nigerian universities. So I wrote down a few questions based on what I've heard spoken here today. So I'm examining why some educational environments successfully develop women's execution capabilities while others don't. So through comparing traditional universities' approach with community-driven models like Cyber Girls, of which I'm an alumni, I've identified some specific transferable strategies that could transform how we develop leadership skills in academic settings. So my question is, from your experience with institutional policy, what would make university leadership more receptive to adopting proven practices from external communities? Is it a resource issue? Is it cultural resistance, or are there structural barriers?
Thank you for your excellent question. Please, in 1 minute each, can we help answer that question? Thank you. You can take Professor Anyanwu. Anyanwu, so just each person can.
Okay. I couldn't really get the exact question you. Can you please?
Okay,
put
so what
it up
I
again? Sorry.
what
so
I
that
had her
can,
say. Okay, just make it fast, but
make
like
it
clear.
yes.
Okay,
make
so
it direct. What?
Yeah, so my question is, what are the barriers that hinder Nigerian universities from adopting some of these things that we addressed, like the abstract I mentioned, which is bridging the skills to leadership back. I have seen some models that have worked in building some of this confidence that make women to have leadership skills, like execution, for example, and bridge some of the things that she mentioned, like stereotypes and all of that. So instituting them into traditional university, which I think is the foundational aspect of how we grow and our career trajectory. So what are the barriers that hinder these things, these policies from being adopted
in the university?
In the universities, maybe cultural, structural barriers, anything, whatever you think from your experience.
Yes, thank you very much. I will use the experience that we've had in Edo State. And that is that what our colleague just said, that, in their department, they already know the line of leadership, that the person who will be HOD in the 3 sessions or so, that's 3 consecutive times. I want to say that academic tradition had been that way. Who is the next most senior person to be the head of department? That's the person that they will choose. But like the young lady, her question is pointing to the fact that many times they don't follow that academic tradition because of some problems, either social or whatever, or the ideas they have. Yeah. For instance, in Edo State, it happened that that tradition, like my friend in Unilag had what they do in their department had been, that is the academic tradition really. but it's been broken because of ethnic affiliation.
Yes.
So these are some of the problems that we encounter, and then when you encounter that, there is no way they will follow that tradition anymore to say, okay, you are next or that is next. No.
Powerful.
So that is one problem that make them not to follow, you know, the already established policies.
Very powerful.
So yes,
very
thank
powerful.
you.
Thank you very much. But you got the question, the answer. All right, thank you.
Thank you. I just simply think that traditions are very difficult to break. But if we work hard at it, we'll be able to overcome some of these traditions.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say. I was going to say as a final note that it is not every time that men look down on women in the workplace. I need to emphasize that. And I also need to say that when men throw opportunities open to us as women, let us take it. Now, my immediate past head of department, Professor Bankole, Abiodun Bankole, a man, he stepped down July 31st. He was actually invited for this program. And he called me just on Friday, was it Saturday,
email.
and said, Ajayi, can you pick up this, do it? And I said, I was in the midst of running postgraduate MSc exams, which I completed on Monday, 2 days ago. And I said, okay, fine, I will pick it up. That was on Friday morning. I don't have food in my house, so I will go to market though, but I didn't tell him that.
Yes.
I didn't tell him that. I just said, fine, we'll juggle it. And how to do what we call in academics fire brigade approach to everything, being able to work under pressure. And just while taking a trip to Abuja, in the airplane, I was sleeping. And then did overnight, and here we are today. So when our male counterparts see that, okay, if I throw this opportunity to this person, it's going to deliver, you are only helping yourself.
Thank you, ma'am.
So let us always
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Professor.
Yeah, so I'll try to answer that question. There is a measure of, please pardon my word, arrogance that comes with our profession, whether you like it or not. We don't want to, we feel people should learn from us and not the other way.
Yeah.
And so that may be partly responsible for what you have observed. But it's not only lecturers or academics. Nigerians generally, we have that problem. That's why we are quick to say, we want to teach me my job. But the truth is, you can be taught your job.
Yes, you can be.
And we should all be open and willing to learn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jackson, in one minute, do you want to respond to that question? Or you're fine? Okay. Are we able to connect him? Okay, if somebody wants, or because of time, I've been told that we've run out. We may not be able to take any other question, but can you help me give our speakers a very warm appreciation? Thank you so much for a great time with you. All right, thank you. Okay, we have to take pictures. Thank you.